Part 5 title, What Really Happened. Part 5 title, What Really Happened That Night. Part 5 summary. The case reaches its conclusion as investigators reconstruct the full sequence of events. Every lie, every decision, and every moment on that boat is finally laid bare. The truth is more complex, and more disturbing, than a single act of violence. In the end, justice comes, but not without leaving permanent scars on everyone involved. The truth didn't come all at once. It never does. It came in fragments. Pieces. Overlapping versions of the same night, each one shaped by fear, guilt, and self-preservation. But when Detective Reyes laid them side by side, the gaps closed. And the story finally held. It started before the boat ever left the dock. That was the first thing they got wrong. They kept treating the lake like the beginning. It wasn't. Malik had felt it all day. The jokes that didn't quite land right. The way conversations shifted when he spoke. The subtle, practiced ease of being included, but never fully in. Not new. Just louder out there. More obvious. Harder to ignore. The tension built in small moments. Trevor brushing him off in front of the others. Ava correcting him, twice, in a way that felt less like conversation and more like control. Evan laughing a little too quickly at things that weren't funny. Lily noticing, but not saying anything. Jordan noticing, and saying even less. By the time midnight came, Malik had made a decision. He wasn't going to let it slide. Not this time. The boat ride started like an escape. It turned into something else. You treat me different. That was the line that cracked everything open. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just honest. And that made it worse. Trevor heard accusation. Ava heard disruption. Evan heard inconvenience. Jordan heard truth. Lily heard danger. And Malik heard himself, finally, out loud. The argument wasn't explosive at first. It circled. Deflected. Minimized. You're overthinking. It's not like that. You're making it weird. Each response stacked on top of the last until the air itself felt tight. Malik didn't back down. That was the second thing they got wrong. They thought he would. You think I don't notice, he said. And he meant everything. Every look. Every tone. Every moment they assumed he wouldn't call it out. Trevor stepped in not because he didn't understand, but because he did. And he didn't like what it said about him. Say what you're trying to say. So Malik did. And that's when it stopped being a conversation. The shove didn't come out of nowhere. That's the part people wanted to believe. That it was sudden. Random. Meaningless. It wasn't. It came after pressure. After ego. After being challenged in front of everyone else. After a moment Trevor couldn't control. Just drop it. I'm not dropping it. That was the line. Trevor moved forward. Hands out. Not thinking about balance. Not thinking about consequences. Just thinking about ending the moment. The push was real. Harder than he meant. Stronger than he realized. And perfectly placed, at the edge. Malik's expression changed in that instant. Not fear. Recognition. Then, water. He didn't disappear immediately. That was another lie they told themselves. He came back up. Gasping. Disoriented. Alive. Malik. Jordan shouted. I see him. Ava yelled. There. Lily pointed. They had time. Not a lot. But enough. Help me. Malik shouted. That part never made it into any statement. Trevor froze. Evan hesitated. Ava stepped back. Lily cried. Jordan moved. He dropped to the edge, reaching out. Grab my hand. Malik tried. Missed. The boat shifted again, water still creeping in, weight uneven, everyone moving at once. Throw something. Jordan yelled. No one did. Do something, he shouted again. That was the moment. The one that mattered more than the push. More than the argument. More than anything. The moment they chose. Trevor looked at Evan. Evan looked at Ava. Ava shook her head, just slightly. Not no. Not yes. Just enough. We can't, Evan started. He'll be fine, Ava said quickly. He can swim. Malik's head dipped under again. Came back up weaker. Malik. Jordan shouted, voice breaking now. Trevor stepped back. And that was it. Because once he stepped back, the others followed. Not all at once. Not dramatically. Just enough. Jordan looked at them like he didn't recognize them anymore. Are you serious? He said. No one answered. By the time Malik went under the final time, they weren't reaching anymore. They were watching. The call to the towing company came seconds later. Not to save him. To save themselves. Is he dead? The question slipped out before the story could form. Before the lie could settle. Before reality could be reshaped. By the time help arrived, the decision had already been made. He wasn't there. He never got on the boat. There was no argument. No push. No moment. Just silence. And water. Detective Reyes closed the file slowly. The room was quiet. Bennett stood across from her, arms crossed. So, he said, what do we call it? Reyes didn't hesitate. Negligent homicide, she said. Manslaughter for the push. Obstruction for everything after. And the rest? She looked down at the photos one last time. They watched him die. The trial didn't feel like justice. It felt like exposure. Every message. Every hesitation. Every second of that night pulled into the light. Trevor was found guilty. Not of murder. But enough. Enough to matter. Enough to follow him forever. Ava and Evan took plea deals. Lily testified. Jordan told the truth. All of it. Even the parts that made him look just as guilty. The courtroom listened. The jury decided. The lake stayed quiet. Months later, Detective Reyes stood at the shoreline again. The same place. The same stillness. But now, it felt different. Not peaceful. Not empty. Just honest. Do you think it was about race? Bennett asked beside her. Reyes took her time. It was about more than that, she said. But it was in it. She looked out over the water. In the way they dismissed him. In the way they didn't hear him. In the way they chose not to act. Bennett nodded slowly. Friends, he said. Reyes shook her head. No, she replied. Not that night. The lake gave nothing back. It never did. But if you stood there long enough, you could almost hear it. The echo of a voice that refused to stay quiet. The truth that didn't go under. And the question that lingered long after everything was over, if it mattered, why didn't they act like it did?